This is Scout Trooper.
You want to keep going? Yeah, you're going down.
The Scout Trooper is a variant of the Imperial Stormtrooper, often dispatched alongside their standard counterparts to assist with reconnaissance and patrol. Their lighter armor gives them increased mobility, while their electrobaton is ideal for crowd control. Their skill in melee combat allows them to go toe-to-toe even against a lightsaber, however briefly. This is Scout Trooper Commander.
Oh, it's you. I'm gonna make you bleed.
Scout Trooper commanders can be found all along the Imperial front lines, giving orders to their squad from the heart of battle. Armed with electrified riot batons, they have received additional training in both military tactics and close-quarter combat, making them far more dangerous opponents than their subordinates. This is Stormtrooper.
I'll take him down.
The Imperial Stormtrooper is the backbone of the Galactic Empire's ever-widening military presence. A wholesale replacement of the Republic clone trooper, these conscripted soldiers are dispatched galaxy-wide to enforce obedience to Imperial rule. Usually armed with a standard E11 blaster rifle, Stormtroopers deploy in squads to ensure numerical superiority. This is Stormtrooper Commander.
I am the best.
The machinery of the Galactic Empire is supported by those who devote themselves wholeheartedly to its cause. Stormtrooper commanders, possessed by that unwavering loyalty, lead their battalions forward in the Emperor's name. Trained in advanced tactics and weaponry, they decisively direct their squads against the Empire's enemies. This is ATST. The All-Terrain Scout Transport, ATST, is a better armed and armored evolution of the Republic Army's reconnaissance transport. Preserving its predecessor's lightweight bipedal form, the ATST is designed to swiftly scout out and disable smaller threats that may prove challenging for the much larger AT-AT. They are equipped with chin-mounted blaster cannons and side-mounted ordnance launchers, giving them superiority over any close-range enemy infantry positions. This is Security Droid. The KX series Imperial Security Droid is a fixture of garrisons across the Empire. Deliberate and powerful, they are deadly in close combat, programmed to incapacitate their opponents with insistent brute force. Fully equipped with communication relays and a suite of tactical programming, they can operate autonomously or as support for larger troop formations. This is FLAMETROOPER.
Enemy spotted. It's dodging.
Equipped with high-powered but cumbersome flame rifles, FLAMETROOPERs provide Imperial forces with searing incendiary support. At a short range of approximately 10 meters, these troopers lack the range of their blaster-wielding contemporaries, but are adept at controlling movement on the battlefield through what is known as tactical conflagration. However, the weapon's fuel overheats quickly and must be allowed to cool down regularly, or risk the entire device combusting. This is Heavy Assault Trooper.
This is a Jedi, and that is a laser sword. This is going okay.
Heavy Assault Troopers are deployed to defend entrenched positions where they can best use their Z6 rotary blaster cannons to provide long-range suppressive fire in short but devastating bursts. Essentially a semi-mobile gun emplacement, the Heavy Assault Trooper excels at thinning out advancing enemies while remaining relatively well guarded behind a personal shield of low-emitter energy. This is Probe Droid. The Imperial Probe Droid, or Probot, is a lightweight reconnaissance droid used by the Galactic Empire for intelligence gathering, primarily deployed to gather audio and visual data via acoustic, sonic, and seismic sensors. The droids are also equipped with 6 manipulator arms for gathering physical samples if required. Lightly armored and lightly armed, a probe droid will transmit data and self-destruct as standard when attacked, rather than risk capture and compromise at the hands of insurgents. This is Rocket Launcher Trooper.
Step forward for identification.
Rocket Launcher Troopers form the bulk of the Empire's anti-armor infantry, deployed to quell armed insurgencies and demonstrate Imperial might. Their RPS-6 smart rocket launchers fire long-range seeker missiles that are highly destructive and seldom miss. The weapon, though powerful, is loaded with only one rocket at a time, and so must be carefully reloaded after every discharge.
I'm taking you out. Target has hijacked our ordnance.
This is ELECTROBATON PURGE Trooper.
I will make sure you're eliminated.
A branch of the Imperial Inquisitorius program, the deadly Purge Trooper Division has one task: hunt down and eliminate any surviving Jedi. Most of the Empire are unaware that these soldiers even exist, yet only Inquisitors themselves receive better training. Purge troopers often take to the field wielding twin electrobatons, using the weapon's lightweight design and their own agility to outmaneuver and overwhelm their targets. This is ELECTROSTAFF Purge Trooper.
Can't stand against me.
At the behest of the Imperial Inquisitorius, Purge troopers relentlessly hunt remnants of the Jedi Order. A clandestine division, Purge troopers are often found alongside Inquisitors, though it is not unheard of for them to track their targets alone. They are given elite training in myriad combat forms, arming themselves with such weapons as the Electrostaff, which is designed specifically to counteract Jedi lightsabers. A streak of zealous cruelty runs through the ranks of the Purge troopers, and they relish combat against those branded traitors of the Empire.
For you.
This is Purge Trooper Commander.
You're mine, traitor.
The secretive but powerful Purge Trooper Division is tasked by the Imperial Inquisitorius with hunting down and eliminating rogue survivors of the Jedi Order, traitors to the Empire. They mostly provide support to Inquisitors as they hunt their quarry across the galaxy and are highly trained in a variety of combat styles. Purge Trooper commanders employ high-capacity blaster rifles and caches of stun grenades to incapacitate and, if needed, apprehend their treasonous foes. This is the Ninth Sister.
All the guilt you're feeling for those fools you led to their deaths.
The powerful and imposing Ninth Sister has only grown more rage-fueled and vengeful in the years since first facing Cal Kestis. A mechanically enhanced Dawitan, her brute strength alone can overpower foes, but she also possesses a natural empathic ability to read the minds of others. This, combined with her mastery of the Force and raw, rage-driven strength, makes her one of the deadliest warriors in the Inquisitorius. This is Shield Trooper. Shield troopers are deployed wherever the Empire needs to put down insurrections. They are armed with batons and heavy shields, and there are few insurgents who can penetrate their defenses or stand against their brutal strikes. This is JETPACK Trooper.
Show our superiority.
Some planets in the Empire's ever-widening sphere are not conducive to conventional ground assault. The JETPACK Trooper can navigate otherwise impassable terrain with their short-range booster pack. Used to scout out positions or as part of a frontal assault, the troopers' specialized training and equipment give them superiority over most entrenched infantry positions. As with all jetpacks, however, the device is susceptible to breakage or overheating when damaged. This is Imperial Officer. The rank of Imperial Officer is ubiquitous throughout the leadership hierarchy of the Imperial military. It exists above other specialized titles such as Supervisor. The level of each officer is displayed by the number and color of pips on their rank badge, which is often, but not always, pinned to the upper left of their standard issue tunic. This is Viper Probe Droid. The Imperial Viper Probe Droid is a variation of the standard Imperial Probe Droid, though still deployed on reconnaissance and intelligence missions and equipped with the relevant suite of data-gathering apparatus. A Viper Droid is also programmed to aggressively defend itself when attacked. Firing rate has been improved, and the outer casing reinforced. Notably, the droid is also equipped with concussion grenade launchers, ensuring that it presents a deadly challenge to any attempting to stop it. This is DT Sentry Droid. DT series Sentry droids manufactured by Bactoid Combat Automata are used as elite guard droids across the Galactic Empire. Broadly built and cast in black plating, DT sentries are an imposing sight. Aside from powerful hydraulic arms used to pummel targets, their weapon configurations can be altered depending on the specific needs of an assignment. This is Security Droid Enforcer.
Inflicted.
A variant of the KX series security droid, these baton-wielding counterparts were designed primarily to train Imperial stormtroopers in the use of the electrobaton. Their movements, therefore, are similar to scout troopers, but with a mechanical mastery of the form which, combined with a reinforced chassis, makes them far more dangerous.
You will regret that.
This is ISB Agent.
Do stormtroopers possess resistance training that I don't know about?
Agents of the Imperial Security Bureau take their work, investigating matters of internal and galactic security, extremely seriously. Fiercely protective of their own jurisdiction, they trust only their own ability and are often harsh and condescending to all others. Although politically and bureaucratically skilled, they are not known for their combat prowess and will quickly falter in a firefight. This is Darth Vader.
And I have come for you.
There are very few who have ever managed to escape the clutches of Darth Vader, and those who do gain only a short reprieve. A master of the Force and all its facets, this mechanized human attacks with relentless power, never tiring and never stopping until his prey is utterly destroyed. This is B-1 Battle Droid. The B-1 battle droid became the common foot soldier of the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. B-1 battle droids are not known for their battle prowess, but instead are valued for their automaton tenacity. Easily dispatched by blaster or saber, they should nevertheless be treated with caution. This is B-1 melee battle droid.
Stop dancing around!
As the backbone of the Separatist infantry, B-1 battle droids were typically outfitted with standard E11 blaster rifles. The B-1 droids of Kobo, however, can often be found wielding makeshift batons and reconfigured tactical programming. In this way, the Bedlam Raiders created a more irregular, threatening army, while also compensating for munitions lost during the Lucre Hulk's long rest in Kobo's swamp. This is B-2 battle droid.
Sensors proceed.
Where the B-1 battle droid may fail, the B-2 is almost certain to succeed. With improved strength and a reinforced chassis, super battle droids are an intimidating presence. Armed with dual wrist blasters and rockets, B-2 droids were designed during the Clone Wars for a singular purpose: destruction.
Damage delivered.
This is BX droid.
I see you. Wasting time.
Where the B-1 and B-2 droids were merely foot soldiers to the Separatist army, the BX series droids served a more specialized purpose: infiltration and elimination. Sturdy, agile, and with advanced programming, the vibro sword-armed BX droid is a much more dangerous adversary than any of its contemporaries. This is BX droid hybrid.
What is this?
The hybrid model BX Commando droid combines the melee prowess of the standard BX model with the ranged advantage of a blaster. Spry and accurate, the hybrid will attempt to soften its target up with blaster fire before closing in for the kill. This is BX droid rifle.
Target has a solid defense.
Designed for elite ranged support, the rifle-armed BX droid excels at covert operations and swift sniper assignments. In close quarters, they will unleash bursts of accurate, deadly blaster fire in an attempt to overwhelm or suppress their enemy. This is DAGAN GERA.
Don't resist. You can't hide from me.
DAGAN GERA is a Jedi of the High Republic, freed from 2 centuries of stasis in Bacta. Seemingly fallen to the dark side, he attacks wildly, but with all the expertise of a former Jedi of the Order. This is Droideka. Clad in bronzium armor and protected by a powerful shield, the collocoid-made Droideka, known also as destroyer droids, are a terror on the battlefield. Their twin repeating blasters fire fast and powerful, while their personal energy shield protects them from most return fire. During the Clone Wars, even the Jedi were wary of engaging a Droideka head-on. This is E3-Phi E3. E3-VE3 is a custom-modified DROIDEKA unit with enhanced offensive capabilities and heightened belligerence algorithms. What is also noteworthy is that the droid has been reprogrammed an additional time, overriding RAYVIS's original rewrite with new logic and loyalty protocols. This is the MASSIFF. A highly modified MAGNAGUARD bodyguard droid, the MASSIFF was a personal project of RAYVIS. Having successfully reprogrammed battle droids en masse, the Jedi wished to see how far he would renovate a droid's programming. The result is the MASSIFF, a ruthless, hyper-enhanced killing machine that will fight until the last of its processes fail. This is URGOST, Fist of RAYVIS. For many raiders, the electro hammer is a blunt instrument. For URGOST, it is the brush with which he paints his art. RAYVIS saw something in URGOST, a measure perhaps of his own warrior code, and took it upon himself to provide tutelage in the way of such an unwieldy weapon. As such, URGOST now employs the electro hammer as if it were an extension of his own arms. This is BEDLAM Raider Lieutenant, Single Blade.
I shall ascend! I shall ascend!
Only the most dedicated of BEDLAM Raiders are seen by RAYVIS as worthy enough to be gifted with a lightsaber from his own collection. This warrior wields a single saber in conjunction with an armament of blasters and grenades, as well as a portable cloaking device, making them exceptionally lethal. This is BEDLAM Raider Lieutenant, Double Blade.
RAYVIS! Not so fast!
RAYVIS saw fit to reward the finest and most loyal of BEDLAM Raider warriors with their very own lightsabers, totems the Jedi had taken from Jedi quarry in ages past. This lieutenant, armed with a double-bladed saber, also employs a wrist-mounted grappling hook to both traverse the battlefield and attack opponents. This is MAGNAGUARD.
Faster than it.
Created by Holowan Mechanicals, the IG-100 MAGNAGUARDs were some of the most proficient battle droids in the Separatist army. Primarily used to defend high-ranking Separatist leaders, their ELECTROSTAFFs were capable of holding their own against Jedi lightsabers. Their surprising agility, combined with their ability to persist even with lost limbs, gave even the fiercest Jedi warriors a challenge. This is RAYVIS.
Seems our destinies are intertwined.
As a long-lived Jedi, RAYVIS has watched civilizations rise and fall as the centuries passed, yet his loyalty to DAGAN GERA has not once wavered in all the years he has served him. A brutal and skilled fighter, RAYVIS attacks with an array of weaponry, from a custom-made flail to rocket barrages. Bound by his warrior's code, there are few who have stood against him and lived.
Give me my warrior's death now!
This is Raider Veteran.
What's happening? That's a nice move.
These warriors knew a life of crime and battle long before they were BEDLAM Raiders. Such experience and skill are rewarded with responsibility and equipment. Armed with a pronged electrostaff and a jetpack, Raider veterans can bring pain and misery to their opponents from both land and air. This is Raider Grunt.
You can move.
Raider grunts prowl Kobo, flexing their might against those they deem trespassers. Armed with an electrostaff, they strike with long-range blows that can be difficult to block. Though lacking in endurance, they are nevertheless a greater threat than their droid underlings.
Target defensive!
This is BEDLAM Smasher. The BEDLAM Raiders are the Fist of RAYVIS, a brute force army designed to destroy. Nothing represents this better than the BEDLAM Smasher, a heavily clad warrior armed with a massive electro hammer. The BEDLAM Smasher attacks with slow swings of their weapon, but each brutal blow, if it connects, is certain to devastate their target. This is BEETU DEETU.
Repeat attack.
This spruced-up BEETU battle droid was a pet project of several raiders who managed to overclock the droid's processes so that they would attack faster and more aggressively. Naming the droid BEETU DEETU, the BEDLAM Raiders sought every opportunity to test them in the field. This is HAXION Brood Commando. HAXION Brood Enforcers are drawn from the dark pits of the Outer Rim to run protection for Sork Tormo's operations. Armed with powerful blaster rifles and sturdy deployable shields, they attack with considered and calculated menace. At close range, their shields can deliver a concussive burst, capable of disorienting their foe, readying them for capture or execution.
I hate worse.
This is HAXION Brood Bounty Droid.
Scared, Jedi. That must have hurt.
One arm of the HAXION Brood's underworld activity is the trade of illegal droid parts. Some of those parts, rather than being sold on, are funneled into the construction of droids with as much zeal for the Brood as any organic. Heavily built and programmed to be overconfident, they will often taunt their enemies even as the blaster bolts fly. This is HAXION Brood Bounty Hunter. Bounty hunters in the employ of the nefarious HAXION Brood are as varied as they are unscrupulous. Equipped with a jetpack, HAXION Brood bounty hunters dominate the air. This, combined with a high-powered blaster rifle, wrist-mounted rockets, and a flamethrower, makes them masters of relentless, deadly assaults. When they strike, it often seems to be as if from thin air. This is CAIJ VANDA.
Oh, nicely done.
Stepping out of retirement to claim that most elusive of Jedi bounties, CAIJ VANDA has not lost her touch during her time on the sidelines. Endlessly agile thanks to her rocket boots, CAIJ has at her disposal every possible tool a bounty hunter could want to take down her prey. This is HAXION Brood Brawler Bounty Droid.
Here it comes!
Leaning into their mechanical propensity for strength, these variations of the HAXION Brood Bounty Droid deal solely in the delivery of massive physical trauma. With their recognizable cockiness, they will happily pummel their targets into pulp, insulting them as they do. This is HAXION Brood Shock Commando.
Got something for you!
Shock Commandos use their upgraded deployable shields, capable of deflecting blaster fire, not only to defend themselves, but to aggressively charge forward and batter their targets. The shield is also capable of delivering an overcharged burst of energy, which brings all but the strongest foes to their knees. This is HAXION Brood Gunslinger.
That must have hurt!
The HAXION Brood sees relentless aggression, as much as canny subterfuge, as crucial to victory. None typify this more than the Brood Gunslinger. Unencumbered by heavy armor or jetpacks, they launch into action, unleashing a flurry of high-powered blaster bolts and stun grenades designed to bring down even the toughest of marks with the steady grind of attrition. This is HAXION Brood Grenadier.
You'll need to try it on.
HAXION Brood Grenadiers, like others in Sork Tormo's employ, enjoy the versatility a jetpack provides. However, they eschew a vast armory in favor of a high-powered blaster rifle and a complement of cluster grenades. Combined, the Grenadier is capable of softening their target up with strafing bombing runs before delivering the killing blow with a jet-powered physical strike. This is GOROCCO. GOROCCO make their homes amongst the bluffs and crevices of Kobo and will defend them against any interloper. A powerful and surprisingly fast beast, the GOROCCO is notable for hurling whatever it can find at any who incites its ire. This is Gorger. Indigenous to the planet Kobo, the lithe and agile gorgers have learned to stalk and corner their prey with a desperate efficacy. Known as hunters to the locals, a gorger is naturally cautious, only striking when certain, lunging with sharpened claws and hungry, lethal fangs. This is vile Bilamau. The regurgitative acidic discharge from a standard Bellamau is well known and well feared, yet it pales in comparison to that from this beast, known infamously on Kobo as the vile Bilamau. Far angrier and far more belligerent than any other Bilamau, its bile is said to be able to even melt through ferrocrete. This is GOROCCO Matriarch. In the hierarchical GOROCCO pack structure, the matriarch is above all. As a more powerful specimen than male GOROCCOs, it historically fell to the matriarch to hunt and provide for the pack. However, in the years since the BEDLAM raiders upended life on Kobo and disrupted historical herding patterns, GOROCCO have grown increasingly hostile and unpredictable, none more than the matriarch. As such, she has now become a danger to the prospectors of Kobo and has caused particular worry in the outpost, which lies within sight of the matriarch's den. This is the Mire Terror. Most creatures that vanish beneath the surface of Kobo's swamps are never seen again. The Mire Terror, however, left one day as a simple Mogu, only to return as something far worse, made hardier somehow by the morass that still clings to its body. The Mire Terror has been the doom of many hapless prospectors. This is Rancor. Rancors inhabit the dark places of the galaxy, often at the whim of the dark-hearted. Towering, bloodthirsty beasts, rancors, are generally best avoided, but if there is no other choice but to fight, warriors must beware of crushing limbs, ravenous mouths, and near-impenetrable hides.
It's over.
This is Bilamaw. The large, thick-hided Bilamaw has made a home amongst Kobo's many crags, caves, and crevices. When disturbed, they react fiercely with kicks, bites, spits, and charges. Their hard exterior is resistant to most conventional weaponry, though there are several more tender spots that can be exploited. This is Rocca. The Rocca is a Kobo native that embodies the planet well, unassuming but surprisingly dangerous. These avian creatures are fiercely protective and will dramatically peck, butt, and charge any who encroach on their territory, thus earning them the moniker Rushers by the locals. However, they are fairly dim-witted and susceptible to certain forms of persuasion. Republic scientists were fascinated by their seeming immunity to local Kobo matter, hypothesizing that their feathers might be somewhat magnetized. This is spawn of Ogdo. What was begun on Bogano has now spread beyond its bounds, seemingly unstoppable. Is this Ogdo the spawn of the legendary Bogdo, bent singularly on revenge for its fallen progenitor? It is impossible to say, but what is certain is this fearsome beast is as powerful as it is long-tongued. This is Bramlik. When approached, the spines that cover a Bramlik's entire spherical body extend outwards, deterring all threats. As such, they are known as spikers by the locals. They are easily dispatched, but are mostly content to let strangers be, if they are in turn left in peace. This is Shiverpede. Shiverpedes, known amongst Kobo locals as Springers, have learned to adapt to their surroundings out of necessity. Hidden among the terrain, they wait until a hapless prey passes too close. Then, they strike, surprising and, hopefully, slicing the unsuspecting prey with their sharp claws and vicious teeth. This is Mogu. The Mogu is a violent predator, known for stalking and aggressively assaulting its prey. Creatures akin to Mogu can be found on planets of varying climate, but their temperament remains largely unchanged. They will seek to grab and slam their targets, lifting and tossing them around. Yet even when injured, a Mogu will not relent. This is Hardshell. The deserts of Jeddah are cold and inhospitable, so the hardshell has developed ways to stay protected. As the name suggests, the creatures often develop a tough outer shell, not to gain reprieve from the elements, but as a defense against predators. Although not every hardshell actually develops this carapace, the local name has stuck. The thick shell can be removed with relative ease, but the creatures are entirely vulnerable without it. Though usually dispatched quickly, they nevertheless will swipe and spit at any entity they deem a threat. This is Golden Skriton. Jeddah's harsh climate forces its residents to either adapt or die. The Golden Skriton has taken this to extremes. Greater still than the already fearsome Skriton, this apex predator strikes harder, moves faster, and lasts longer than almost any other beast on the planet, earning it a fearsome reputation. This is Skriton. Jeddah is home to many dangerous creatures, but few are as ruthless and unpredictable as the Skriton. A lopsided creature, the Skriton's left claw is huge and incredibly powerful. Not only is it able to crush its prey easily, but it can also resist several heavy strikes. Its movement is erratic and hard to predict, making the Skriton one of the deadliest creatures on the planet. This is Sudaban. Sudaban stalks the ruins of Jeddah's ancient temples, seeking prey amongst the frigid wastes. Highly belligerent and single-minded, Sudaban pummel their prey with a barrage of strikes from their sinewy but powerful arms. They are known to lose direction and composure when on the hunt, however, and occasionally become disoriented by their own flurries, allowing their targets to either flee or retaliate. This is Sudaban Alpha. Sudaban are known for being merciless and brutal, but the Sudaban Alpha somehow manages to be far worse. Many who have encountered it and lived speak of what seems to be an enjoyment in its attacks, as if the beast delights in its cruelty. While these could be the words of paranoia, there is no doubt that the Sudaban Alpha is fierce beyond measure.
They never stop now.
This is Roller Mine. The Roller Mine is a Kobo curiosity. Although it is known to be a Kobo original creation and presumably made for blasting through rock and debris, its true origins lie shrouded in some mystery. Some say it was created by one of Kobo's earliest prospectors, a prolific inventor, but no single story can corroborate another on the matter. This is Scavenger Droid. These anxious, greedy droids are a familiar sight wherever there is abandoned material up for grabs. Thought to have been originally created to bring valuable scrap to their owners, these droids now roam independently, hoarding whatever valuables they can find with their grubby mechanical hands.